Summer routines live or die by how easy they are, and honestly, if something takes too much effort, I'm out. That's why Groons is my go-to. It's my one daily pack of gummies covering my greens, vitamins, and minerals. Plus, it has 6 grams of prebiotic fiber, which is more than 2 cups of broccoli. No mixing powders, no giant pills, no hassle. I just rip open the pack and I'm done. They taste good and they make it easy to stay on top of my health, even when life gets busy. Save up to 52% with the code PODCAST at Groons.co. That's code PODCAST at GRUNS.co.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Rosen Sports Monday on this Thursday before a long and hopefully very restful Memorial Day weekend for all of you. And I'm very excited to have a special guest with me who I've known for a long time, and I've been dying to dig into that deep brain of his, get all his recipes. David Fhima, one of the great restaurateurs in the Twin City area. First of all, I want to thank our sponsors, as always. Charlie Swanson, who just celebrated his 50th birthday, USOB. I can't believe you're 50. Lexus of Whitesdale, Lexus of Maplewood. David's laughing because we both know Charlie so well. What a character and what a great, great friend. Lucy Nicotine Pouches, thanks a lot for your sponsorship to joining on board. And, of course, the Minnesota Twins. I'm anxious just getting some tickets for a game with my daughter coming up here in early June and take in Target Field for a baseball game as well. So I mentioned David Fhima is my guest today. If you're not familiar with this man, well, you should be. His name is synonymous with restaurants in the Twin City area for many, many years. There's so much I want to talk to you about, David. First of all, thanks for being here today. I want to start with the present, and then we'll kind of take a step back, and I want to hear more about your background and how it all came together. How many restaurants right now are you currently involved with as an owner, et cetera, in the Twin City area?
In the Twin Cities, we are part of I think around 8 or 9 restaurants.
I didn't know it was that many.
Yeah, the Mother Dough concept.
Oh, that's true.
Are different in different places, but that's how many we are.
Rattle off a couple of them for folks who are just maybe not be aware of.
Maison Margot, which is our flagship in the North Loop, a classic French restaurant. Vagabondo, which is a Sicilian restaurant in Excelsior. The Mother Dough concepts in the Mill City District, downtown Minneapolis, so those are the concepts that we have.
Vagabondo is the one that opened, I think, most recently, right in middle of Excelsior, and I know it's packed there all the time. But when you design a concept like that, I mean, what made it special for you? Why were you so excited about that space? And I know there've been other restaurants there over the years, and why you think this is kind of the recipe, pardon the pun, for success in the long haul.
The more you think there is a science to restaurants, the more the science proves you wrong, that there is no science. And I've learned what I should have learned earlier in life, a little bit later in life, but then again, I'm not going to complain. I finally learned my lesson, is to really follow the way I was raised. My dad's side of the family, that Sicilian background, is really what I wanted to do as a restaurant. And so that Sicilian authentic pasta and pizza and that warmth of having meals at the tables that you share is really what inspired me to get that restaurant done.
Is that how you grew up, mentioning your dad in that kind of environment with those kind of the family dynamic centering around the meal, the dinner or supper, whatever you want to call it?
There were never less than 12, 15 people at our dinner table. Well, I'm one of 17 siblings.
Oh my goodness.
And my dad, neither my dad or mom were literate. They didn't know how to read, did not know how to write. They never drove a car. But they could sit down and they should have been in your podcast. They could tell you stories about life science, all out of memory. Where
was this now? Where did you?
So I was born in Casablanca, Morocco.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Morocco used to be a French colony. They call it protectorate, but they didn't protect anything. They colonized everything. And so raised to a Spanish French, Moroccan, Jewish mother,
Oh,
Sicilian Catholic father.
What
And
a combination.
that was our upbringing. That was our table. That was how we were raised. And then, when Morocco got its independence, we moved, and a lot of the family moved all over the world. Moved to France. I studied in France, lived in France, Switzerland, and moved from one place to another.
So, getting back to the family dynamics at dinner time. So, you were not just a kind of an innocent bystander. You had to be involved, I assume. What are your early recollections about taking part in the process, or how did you learn how to do all this?
Well, listen, your being, your DNA is about survival. And everything that we do in life subconsciously is about surviving. You can't survive if you're not eating, correct? You can't survive if you're not procreating. Those two things were 17 children and a lot of food.
17?
Yeah. I was the eighth. There were 7 girls before me, and I was the first male born. And so our table was really, it was the table. I was the first to go to college. And so before college, at 5, 6, 7, 8, I would come home and there would be chores. They had nothing to do with homework. Nobody gave a shit about that. Sorry.
Right. No,
what everybody cared about, how we were going to eat tonight. And there were chickpeas that needed to be cleaned. There was vegetables that needed to be cut. There was spices that needed to be milled. Or there was a cow in the back waiting to be slaughtered. My dad would put it on its back. We would share it with the neighbors. It gets slaughtered. We slit through the middle, get all the intestines out. I would hold these intestines in my hand. That's one of my first experiences at 6, 7 years old. And they were so freaking hot, and I wouldn't dare complain. I would go to my mom, what do I do with them? And my mom would go, blow the shit out of them.
Yeah.
And I literally blow the stuff out, and then I would cut it in pieces. We would clean it because that stuff smelled so bad. And then we would boil it for literally 3 days until it got clean and got softened up, and you'll make Sicilian tripe soup, which is one of the greatest things on earth. It's like eating tomato with butter and warm bread.
I'm not sure I could ever look at food the same way as listening to you describe that. I'm not quite sure I could ever have a steak again. But I think that the family dynamics, but also the expense, but they kind of lived off the land.
We lived off the land. Mark, I did not know how poor our family was until I went back home when I was in my 40s with my 2 children, and we landed in Morocco. And then I'm going, God, I don't remember it being so primitive. And primitive in a really, not in a bad way, just by comparison of having been raised in Paris and and being in the US and being so lucky to live a life of privilege. And then we were told that we're going to have this Mercedes pick us up. It was this 240D diesel that we had to sort of like sift through the smoke because the diesel engulfed the whole cab.
God.
But this was a luxury, and it's taking us through these streets where had no pavements. It was horses and donkeys we yielded to, and we get to the neighborhood, and my kids, I could see the fear in their eye. Because what I described to them and what they were just about to see was completely different.
Yeah.
And we go and visit where I was born and where I was raised, and it was completely different than what I was remembering. Because what I remembered was the dinner table. What I remembered, the length of the table. What I remembered is the people. What I remembered was the abundance of food. And really, for the first time, it occurred to me that my parents' values and the wealth that they instilled on us had nothing to do with the house we grew up in, which was 2-bedroom over 17 kids, 1 bathroom. If you were the first person to take a bath, you got hot water. After that, you were shit out of luck. And thank God it was the Mediterranean, so it was not too cold. And our wealth was at the table. And we were so blessed to be born to that and speaking 7 languages. You know, a Sicilian grandma that spoke those languages, the Spanish and the French and the different cultures. During Ramadan, a lot of our Muslim neighbors will come to the house and we'll break bread together. During the Jewish holidays, that Muslim family will buy the bread from us and then sell it back to us so we didn't have bread at home. During Easter,
right?
And it all was normal and it was all good.
You know, as many years as I've known you now, for the first time, I really am cognizant of where your work ethic comes from. I mean, growing up the way you did, all those siblings sharing 1 bathroom, God knows how many were in each bedroom, but understanding every day was the tasks and the chores at hand. It's kind of followed you to where we sit today. Your work ethic is second to none.
Well, I am blessed because I saw my dad leaving home. And then 12, 14 hours later, I saw him coming back pretty much every day, except for Saturdays.
And what was he doing?
My dad was a leather trader. So basically he would, I don't know if you've ever been to places where they treat leather, where they take the cow hide, which is basically the skin of the cow, and it goes into these wells of different chemicals and they turn it into leather. It's the smelliest place on earth.
Oh my!
It's disgustingly dirty. And there are like hundreds of wells in the ground. That's the old way of turning it. And there will be people inside those wells with their feet stomping on it. And you knew who worked what well based on the color of their feet because their feet pretty much turned into leather.
My God.
Yeah. And so that's what my dad did. That was his business. And we thought, and listen, what we have to do a better job of defining normal. And our normal today is so privileged. Our normal today is working less. Our normal today is great. I mean, all the balance, all the harmony, and all that bullshit is fine. But at the end of the day, if you don't impart on your kids a sense of work ethics, you haven't done your job.
That's words of wisdom. How did your road eventually lead you here to the Twin Cities, where you've had your roots for a number of years and opened up and closed some restaurants and really established the David Fhima name?
I'll give you the short version.
Okay.
The one that does not require alcohol.
I'm ready to have a drink right now.
I wouldn't mind having a drink or two with you, Rosie. I have to say that I'm so privileged to be here sitting down with you. Man. I have known you in my first restaurant that I opened with Phil Weber at the Carlton Beach Club.
Yeah.
And God bless her soul, your wife and your daughter when she was just
a little
the
girl.
age of my daughter, Chloe.
Chloe, yeah.
So, and I remember we shared.
Adopted her from Korea.
I know. We shared the same. My daughter's name is Chloe, and we shared the names.
Right.
I remember you stopping by the Minneapolis Cafe, and we would chat, and everybody would tell me, that's Rosie, that's the legend. And I was new to the Twin Cities, and then I got accustomed. So being here with you 30 plus years later is mind-boggling to me.
I feel the same way.
And I don't take it. I don't take it for granted, and I'm blessed by it. And there was a break in us not seeing each other for a while, and then we reconnected back. And I'm blessed by it. So
Well,
I'm
I feel the
grateful
same
for
way.
it. And thank you for
Well,
allowing me to sit down with you.
You are you're passionate in a lot of ways, and you're not afraid to express yourself. And I've learned a lot from just being around you. I was in a little bit of a restaurant business myself for a while.
I remember that.
Down at Rosen's Bar and Grill, and opened up in '91, which was a great time to open, since that's the last time a men's team won a championship, a world championship here in the state. But it was crazy. But you do have to be a bit of a masochist, I think, to be involved in the restaurant business. You've had a lot of wild ups and downs. What's kind of kept you motivated? Because I'm sure there have been plenty of tough times. This is, you always hear the advice, do not get into the restaurant business. It's going to eat you up. Most of them are set up to fail. How have you overcome that?
You know what I've learned? I've learned that I've never had ups and I've never had downs. I've had life, and I've had life in the restaurant business. And life in the restaurant business, you're not, my dad always, and I hear people change this, and I've heard it, but I've heard it first from my dad. You're not as good as your mom tells everybody you are. And you're not as bad as one day your ex-wife will tell everybody you are. And it's not a knock on my ex-wife. It's just,
right.
You are somewhere in between. And this, your first question, how did I get here? I mean, I learned about the restaurant industry at the dinner table. I was born in Casablanca, was raised in Morocco till I was 7. I went to boarding school in London. From London, I went to boarding school in Paris. From Paris, I went to Geneva, Switzerland. I went to engineering school. I'm an engineer by trade. And I also worked in restaurants. And then one day in Switzerland, I was, said I want to go and visit the US. And I was fascinated by this cowboy, Ronald Reagan. I remember watching the hockey team at 3:00 in the morning beat the Russians in 1980. And I wanted to come and visit. So I came and visited. And within 2 weeks, I was out of money because I didn't have any money. So that was the pre-9/11, when the borders were much more open.
Sure.
And I knocked on one door and I said, I need a job just so I can pay my ticket to get back home. And what do you do? So I'm an engineer, but I'm also a cook. We have a job for you as a cook. And well, you need to get a social security number. So I went to the social security number building. I said, I need to get a job. What trade do you have? I said, I'm an engineer. And they said, well, we'll give you, here's your work permit. Here's your social security number. That's how fast and quick it was. And I worked in a restaurant and I stayed. And I built my career in Los Angeles. And which was an incredible path. And you and I talked a little bit about it. And met my ex-wife in LA. She is from Minnesota originally. She really didn't want to stay there. And we were trying to figure out our marriage. Moved to Minnesota with her. Had our 2 wonderful children. Wound up getting divorced. I'm remarried. I have 2 children with my wife. Today, the woman that keeps me centered and grounded and have
she's
literally,
special.
She's amazing, has saved my life spiritually. And here I am. In between, there is a lot of shit. And in between, there is a lot of experiences. In between, as you call them, the ups and downs, in betweens. But they all are the lessons, and they all are all those things. And you're right. Anybody who wants to be in this business, if they ask me, I want to be in the restaurant business, my question is always why? And not why as a put down. Why do you want to be in it? I want to make money. Don't. You will not. I want to be famous. Don't. Most are not. And when you are, they're going to put you on the top. And then once you're there, boy, you become this target. And unless you have thick skin, forget about it. It's going to eat you up alive, as you said. I love food. Okay. My mom taught me how to eat, and drink. And okay. I want to really greet people and make people's experience, and I want to make them happy. Okay, yes, do that. Because if it is about food, if it's about drinking, it's about being famous, it's about making money, forget it. It's the wrong business. It's about what you and I are doing right now, sharing something and you, because nobody sucks your energy more than people. It's the truth. But you have to be able to love that. You have to be able, and somebody going home and go, God, that interaction was amazing. My evening was made. I want people to always forget the food they had with me, forget the decor of my restaurants, and just remember me, because I genuinely made them feel good. That passion that I have about that is unrelenting, but it's also a curse because I drive my staff crazy because of that. And I have no limit in how far I will go to make someone happy. That's hard. It's hard on my staff. They hate me for it. They love me for it. But that's who I am.
These are absolute pearls of wisdom. I'm learning so much about, well, I already know a lot about this man, but I'm learning so much more. And at this moment, I think we'll take a quick break and come back with this very engaging conversation with David Fhima. So stay with us here on Rosen Sports Monday. Hey, Rosie here for Lexus of Wayzata and Lexus of Maplewood. As I have told you, I recently purchased a new Lexus RX, and it is fantastic. The best car I've ever driven. Lots of room for a tall guy like me, and it just drives like a dream. Charlie Swanson and his staff have been so good to me, and I can't say enough about the wonderful treatment I've received from the service department to the people at the front desk. They're all very welcoming. We purchased an all-gas model, but keep in mind it also comes in a hybrid and a plug-in hybrid. I think my wife is going to do an NX Lexus this spring. So go to Lexus of Wayzata or Lexus of Maplewood and come and see what they have that works for you.
Here is where it all starts. Here's where pages are turned and new legends are written. Here's where kids become lifelong fans and lifelong fans become kids. Here's where sunsets last longer, happy hour tastes better, and summer hits its stride. And when all of Twins territory stands together and believes hard enough, well, there's no place like here. Get your tickets at twins.com.
Hi, this is Mark Rosen, and lately I've been hearing from a lot of friends about a product called Lucy. Lucy makes premium tobacco-free nicotine pouches in a range of flavors and strengths so you can find something that fits what you like. One thing that really sets Lucy apart is the flavor experience, especially with Lucy Breakers. They feature a flavor capsule inside the pouch that you crack whenever you want an extra burst of flavor. It's a different kind of experience, and that on-demand flavor is what makes Lucy stand out. And you can get 20% off your first order at lucy.co/Rosen with promo code ROSEN. And if you'd rather pick some up today, use their store locator to find Lucy near you. And now the fine print. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every customer is age verified. Warning, this product does contain nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. And welcome back with a very interesting man, David Fhima. And I think the way you describe it, David, is always how we have felt going to one of your restaurants. The food, you always want the food to be good. And I can't think of too many bad meals I've ever had in any of your restaurants, but it's the experience. We were recently in Italy and we ate at this hole in the wall, and the food was extraordinary. But what made it so extraordinary was the fact that there was really nothing on the walls. They had a dumbwaiter bringing the food from the basement to the second floor. The owner it was just he and another guy basically serving everybody and coming around to greet you. I'll remember that meal for the rest of my life, not just because of the food, but because of the time he spent with us and the love he put into that experience. And that's what it was. And it's when you can find that, it's more than just, I went to such and such a place, franchise restaurant. Yeah, the steak was great. The lobster was great. The dessert was good. The bread. No, it's so much more than that. And that's what I'm feeling from you today.
Well, thank you. from generation to generation. I got that from my dad. My dad was a healer, was a people person. He was, I hate the word authentic because it's overused and misused.
Mm-hmm.
Authentic, to me, most of it is bad because that's
Really?
who I am.
Mm-hmm.
I am a flawed, horrible human being. I really am. I mean, God, I know me. But there are some pieces of me that are authentically amazing. And I want people that have never met me to know a lot of my flaws immediately and be okay with it. And I mean, we're talking about my wife she is with me despite of all of that, not because of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so these authenticity is mostly about the things that you don't like about people, but they are honest about them. They're showing them to you, and their flaws, their shortcomings, their all of that stuff. And to me, when you go to a restaurant and you see somebody who's extremely passion is people think that passion is not only what happens in food and bed. Passion is also what happens when you're screaming and you have no filter, and that's terrible. Okay.
Right.
Passion is also when you're saying the wrong thing. But that's who we are.
Yeah. And that's who you are, because you're not only, anytime we've ever been to Vagabondo, we go to Maison Margaux, you're not only in the kitchen, not just directing traffic, but hands-on with the meal itself, but you're always circling in the room, and your passion speaks for itself. And I think that's the experience that we've always encountered from the authentic warts and all of David Fhima. But that's something that's really important to you, that you are involved in every aspect of it, and you love the cook still, right? I mean,
I if I could spend all my time on the line, directing the line, making food, not having to worry about accounting, not having to worry about anything else, going and shaking people's hands, that's all I would do. And what drives me crazy about the business is that in order for me to do that, I have to spend another 10 hours on other things in order to do that.
What did you learn about? I mean, the financial stuff could not have come easily for you. I mean, you, as I said, we heard about your humble beginnings and how you learned how to do it. And all of a sudden you get in the restaurant business, and a number of restaurants you've been involved with. There's a whole lot of crap that goes on that people don't see with the bottom line, and food costs and liquor costs and staff and rent, and it's just everything that goes into it. Is that what you're talking about?
It is so tedious. It is so hard. You process payroll today and you start worrying about payroll in 2 weeks. You process sales tax today and you will start worrying about sales tax a month from now. You can have 5 amazing days and 2 bad days can really hurt you. Mm-hmm. It's a very difficult business. And I am saying it with humility, because I'm saying it not as a martyr or a victim. I'm saying it because I made the choice to be in it. And I don't want anybody to feel bad for me. I want people to come and support our restaurants, support local restaurants, support independent restaurants. But please, don't feel bad for us. We have made a choice to do that. What I'm talking about is that you have to, you sell a steak for $50. Before once that customer pays you that $50, it's not $40 of profit. Mm-hmm. It's not 30, it's not 20. You're lucky if it's $4 to $5.
Really?
Yes. Because that steak, that $50, if it's a 30% food cost, mm-hmm. it's a $15 cost. If it's a 35% labor, you now have another $15. So now it has cost you $30. Now the plate that you bought, now the electricity, now the rent. and you add it up and you go, oh my gosh, it is extremely challenging. It requires you to be very, very disciplined. It requires you to be very organized. It requires you to be the accountant, the lawyer. But it also, if you do it very well, you can make a good living. If you do it very well, there are a few people who have gotten wealthy because of it. I am not one of them, but I make a good living.
And you've dusted yourself off any number of times when a restaurant is closed, and did you ever say to yourself, I don't know if I want to go through this BS anymore? But you have always been driven to try again, even when a David Fhima restaurant has closed for any number of reasons. And here you are.
During the Iraq war, there was a headline in 2007, 2008, the stock market crash, and there was a headline in one of the main newspapers that will remain nameless that said, Fhima's empire is crumbling. And I happened to close 3 or 4 restaurants all at once. And that was the headline. I mean, below that, all the way down, and I remember this vividly, it says, 3 soldiers died with an IED, and I'm going, boy, is our shit out of sync. I am making news. That is the day I decided I'm not reading anything about me anymore. And since I have never read or anything, this podcast, I will listen to it. My wife will tell me about it more, but I don't take any of it seriously anymore. I really think that you got that 2007, 2008 when I got up and had nothing but debt, a lot of debt, and I had a choice, but I didn't know it yet. I had a choice to just sit and feel miserable, and I did. To be embarrassed, and I did. To feel like I failed, and I did. But I had a choice to stay with that or to take that, and it took me a while and figure out, okay, what's next? And what's next was pretty simple for me. I'm doing it all over again. I did not know how. I did not know when, because we live in a world, if you're hot, everybody wants to be a piece of you. If you're not, everybody thinks, well, I told you so. He sucks. And that my dad's thing in my head, you're not as good as what your mom tells you are, or as bad, always rang in my head. But if you get up and you go out and you put yourself out, like Einstein says, the word work with energy. The energy is there. And I prayed a lot. My wife was supportive. My kids, I thought I was the greatest thing since sliced bread. No matter how I felt about myself, they loved my French toast on Sunday morning. And picked the pieces and started all over again. But now I was armed and very dangerous because I knew why I had all these challenges. I will never call them failures.
That's a great way of putting it.
Never.
Forever, no matter what business you're in.
No matter what relationships you're in.
It does seem, you mentioned go and support, independent restaurants, whatever it might be. How tightly knit a community, let's just say Minneapolis, downtown, North Loop, whatever it might be, are the restaurateurs? It seems like they support each other quite well. Everybody is happy for someone else's success.
You're not going to like what I'm going to say to you.
Right.
I think we should be tighter. I think we should be more supportive.
Right.
We're not. I'm old school. I remember in LA, at the end of the shift, a bunch of us will go. We knew where all the chefs, I wasn't a chef by any means yet. I was like a cook. I was young. I still had pimples in my face. But I hang out around these amazing chefs and amazing mentors. And we will hang out in someone's restaurant and everybody. We had a rule. Everything that we had, that we knew about each other that was negative, it stayed in that group. Outside of that group, we all just blew each other up in terms of elevating each other up. That was the restaurant industry in the mid 80s, early 90s in Los Angeles. And I learned the old school way. We should be more like that here. We are not as much. It's I think competition is bad. Being inspired by other people and motivated by them is great. And we have to figure that out. And but there are amazing restaurants in this community. That inspire me. There are amazing chefs in this community that inspire me.
It's really turned into a foodie town to a great extent. Well, let's talk about the climate in Minneapolis, downtown Minneapolis specifically, because obviously there's been a toll taken on every aspect of downtown Minneapolis. I've lived down there for a long time, and many people say I'll never step foot in it. It's too crime-ridden. It's too this. It's too that. Whatever it might be. What are your thoughts on just sort of the present and the future of North Loop, downtown Minneapolis, restaurants surviving under the current climate?
It reminds me of this saying, and I think it's a Chinese saying that says, "Remember, be careful not to remove a bee that's sitting on your forehead using a hatchet, because you wind up cutting your head off." I think what happened to Minneapolis is not just one thing; it's a multitude of things. So, the community, the restaurant community, if you wanted to eat in Minneapolis, you went downtown. That's where it was alive before COVID. So a few things happened. Suburbs started to have good restaurants. I think that's amazing. So you did not need to go downtown as much, but you still went downtown. Then COVID came in, and COVID really taught us many lessons. It taught us, some of them were bad. Some of them, we thought that we could do a lot of things from home, which we can. I think if you are a single mom and you can work from home, it's amazing. Thank God that we have that awareness. If you're sick and can work from home. But to me, a bedroom is to make love. A bathroom is to take a shower. A restaurant is to go out and eat. When you're doing all three in the same spots, you're not doing any of them well. COVID sort of mixed all that shit up. So COVID is over. There was a lot of excitement. We saw a little bit of a bump, but then that bump went back down. And there was this perception about downtown Minneapolis of safety. I've been in Minneapolis for over 30 years. You remember the Minneapolis Cafe on Hennepin?
Of course.
It was just the same. We had the bus station and everybody was complaining the bus station. It was the same thing. It's just that we noticed it more because people were less. I think the worst thing that happened to downtown Minneapolis is the big boys, the Targets of the world, and all this not bringing their people back.
Right. I agree.
And I called them on it, and I got some of the CEOs called me directly. "Oh, David, it's you." I said, "It's the truth. You guys have a responsibility." So that was the beginning of that storm. The second thing, I think there was this social awareness, which is amazing, but we pushed too far. There is a city council that has no clue about business. And I'm going to say that, and I don't care what anybody thinks.
I 100% agree.
They have no idea what business is like, and especially restaurant business. Mind you, the restaurant business may not be the one that financially supports downtown with sales tax. We do, but not to the extent of the big corporations. But we are the heartbeat. Without us, those corporations are just blend. They're just blend. We are the heartbeat. We are what creates energy, what makes people want to be in. And that energy is gone. And then there is this movement downtown. In every time there is ice, obviously was a disaster and did not help. And I'm completely against what ICE did and how they did it. There is absolutely the rule of law that needs to happen, but there is a way to do it. They were not the reason, but we used them as a reason, the straw that broke the camel's back. And now restaurants that used to be a place where we congregated, shared a meal, became this political, that this restaurant politically aligned with me or not? And I'm going to boycott them or not. What the heck is that?
That's the world we live in.
It is.
Sadly.
It is. And there was always that thing. No matter how divided we are, we got together at a table.
Restaurant. Yes.
At a restaurant.
Settle our differences and go have a good
You
meal.
want to fix restaurants downtown? Bring that culture back. Bring that back. Restaurant should be a completely out of the conversations when it comes to political stuff.
Bravo.
It should be where we go and get together. And I promise you, you'll find more in common with people there.
Than you will anywhere
That has
else.
hurt us a lot. So you have people that live in the suburbs, which we need to come downtown, that don't want to come downtown because they feel that they're not as welcome, that their views, I know that. They tell me that. So when my restaurant downtown is not doing as well, but my restaurant in Excelsior is packed 7 nights a week, there is a cultural shift.
Yeah.
We have to be better people. We have to be kinder. We have to allow room for disagreement, and that disagreement we don't become vilified because of it. What happened to that?
Well, I think there's a whole nother podcast to be done about that. That's for sure. But I agree. We used to be able to settle our differences and just acknowledge them and then break bread and move on. A couple of things to kind of wrap things up, David. This is phenomenal. You are now, of course, you've been involved with the sports scene since this is Talk North Sports with both the Minnesota Timberwolves all the way to the Chicago Bears, our mutual good friend, Kevin Warren. It seems like you have a thirst for no matter what. I thought, wait, you're doing what? The Chicago Bears? You're doing how in the hell are you? Why are you doing that? I see it, obviously with the Target Center with the Timberwolves and so sports, has gotten into your blood a little bit too. But also the people who are running the operations mean a lot to you.
I knew you were going to give me some shit about the Bears.
Well, no, that's I kind of acknowledge. I think that's pretty cool, actually.
I love Kevin Warren. I love what the Bears are doing.
Yeah.
I love
So
what our Vikings are doing. I've always been a sports fanatic. Soccer is my number one game, or will always be my number one game.
World Cup this year.
I know basketball has always been, but this is the evolution of food. We have become more aware. We are more knowledgeable, and we are no longer accepting just because I'm going to a sports venue, I'm going to accept a stadium fare, a shitty hot dog, a stale popcorn. I am saying you should go to an NBA game, have amazing popcorn. It's the simple things done very, very well. I crave a good popcorn and a good hot dog when I go to an arena, but I want a good one. But I also, for those who want a filet mignon, who wants pasta, I want it to be amazing. So we got involved in sports and we've changed the game. We have really changed what people are expecting. It's amazing when you see people come to Target Center and to a game, how much more demanding they are. And I have staff tell me, God, oh my gosh, what would they want? I said, they want great food. And we live in a community where they go and can go get a good dinner. We do not want them to feel just because they are in a stadium that they're going to get less. And we're doing the same thing with the Bears, and we're doing the same thing with Global Table in Plymouth with the Coburn store. And that's the part of the lesson that I learned. The restaurants have to be what we do. They have to be our brand, but we also have to be diversified enough and have another source and other partners, and relationships, and relationships, and relationships, and relationships, because those matter. And relationships that stay with you for 40 years are those who know you well and trust you well. And so, yeah, I to me, that I am home and that I am at one of the most famous restaurants in Minneapolis or anywhere in the world, or that I am at the stadium, I want quality. I want somebody making it with love. That's what we try to do.
To wrap things up, is there a next level, a next step for David Fhima? Do you wake up every morning going, okay, what's next? Or you just take every day as it comes and another challenge will present itself? And I don't see you slowing down, my friend.
No, not happening.
Not going to happen.
Not happening.
You're only 64. You're
I'll slow down
kid.
when you slow down, Rosie.
I'm getting there. But no.
No, I have a book coming up.
Oh, you do?
Yes,
okay.
I do. And so I'll make it quick, and I'll tell you, my dad, when he was so proud of me that when I became an engineer,
mm-hmm.
he wanted me to be the first Jewish Catholic man to go to the moon. I never made it, but I was close by being an engineer. But when I told him I wanted to be in the restaurant business, he goes, "Why?" And he goes, "I said I want to cook." And he goes, "Listen, there are two things in life that are instinctual to a human being." And I tell this story all the time because it drives my life. He goes, one is you have to eat in order to survive, and you have to make love and have kids in order for the world to continue.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, you put a man and a woman in an island, you dump them, they've never met each other, they've never cooked. You come back 3 years, there's a baby running around, and they figured out how to catch a fish, and they knew how to cook it very well. And I tell this story all the time. And he goes, there are more cookbooks and more sex books. What a big ripoff. You already know how to do that. Just get yourself in the kitchen or get yourself in bed. So I'm writing a book, and I have this in the back of my mind. So my book is really not about cooking. It's really storytelling. It's really my experience. And so my next thing is get this book out and to really, if there is a story that I can tell someone to motivate them, to inspire them, if there is a restaurateur that has so much talent but wants to give up that I can help, don't, because you have so much to offer. That's what I want to do.
Well, when that book comes out, I don't know if you have a target date yet. You're still writing it right now? Or are you?
It's done.
It's done?
My wife and I are editing it. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I'll have to have you guys come back and discuss this
I would
book. Do you have a
love to.
title for it yet? Or do you?
I don't know yet. I don't know
title.
Yet. Yeah.
Well, good luck with it, because it'll be a great experience. It sounds like it'll be, I'm not seeing a culmination of everything you've done, but putting it in listening to you today, and I hope a lot of folks have enjoyed this beyond what David Fhima has meant to the Twin City area in particular. Man, love you, brother. This has been great, and really appreciate you spending some time, quality time with us today. And I'm just pumped up to just get going here. Go to my next meal, because I know you put a lot of love into it, and we do appreciate it. And everyone I've been around, we go to your restaurants. It's always not so much, oh boy, the food was good, this was great. It was you and your family and your sons that are there that make the experience exactly the way it should be. Thank you, David.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Appreciate it.